Williams got claimed in court today that she is permanently incapacitated because of her battle with dementia. This is so sad, but we knew that her health was on the decline, but it seems like it was worse than anyone has seen or assumed.
From all the time that I gotta do something about it.
Raise your hand if you couldn't even make it through the first part of Wendy Williams' documentary. It literally felt like I had no business watching. To see someone we've seen on TV for years go through some of their lowest moments in a mind state that is not their normal mind state at all just feels elite.
The most recent information regarding Wendy Williams' health problems has supporters very concerned. Unfortunately, there has been no good news regarding the talk show queen's battle in the background. Concerns about Wendy's future are raised by reports that she may never talk again, but that's only the beginning. A lawsuit regarding a contract has also been filed by her guardian. After viewing a real documentary that allegedly depicted Wendy in a vulnerable position, fans are now linking Diddy's alleged troubled past to Wendy's declining health. What is the real tale, though? Is Wendy's health crisis really related to her long-running conflict with Diddy, and is she not improving? Let's investigate.
Talk about Diddy!
And then what's the stuff that's happened with Wendy Williams? You think this is all connection to?
Of course! They've been waiting!
According to a memo filed by her guardian's lawyers, Wendy's former talk show host has become cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated. This means that she has been fighting an uphill battle for a long time. She was diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia in 2023, which is the same form of the illness as actor Bruce Willis. To be fair, fans haven't heard much from her since she vanished from the scene, and everyone was kind of hoping that she would be doing better. She's too far gone to return, and this is where Wendy's guardian becomes even more problematic. The DACA series Where is Wendy Williams was released in February, and Sabrina Morrissey has since filed a lawsuit against A&E television networks, Lifetime Entertainment Services, and others involved. Sabrina has never been supportive of the show. In fact, she attempted to stop it from airing. But fortunately for her, a judge decided in favor of the broadcast, stating that such a ban would be an unlawful prior restraint on speech that violates the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Now that the documentary has been released, Sabrina's position on the issue hasn't altered. Instead, she's bringing the axe to light in her complaint, alleging that the docuseries participants used a weak Williams in the documentary. Since the documentary did air, Wendy's guardian feels that the proceeds from the series should go to Williams, who will require substantial funding to provide proper medical care and supervision for the remainder of her life. Even though Ina feels that Williams was extremely vulnerable and obviously incapable of consenting to be filmed, much less humiliated and exploited. Shan Zanat, a longtime publicist, expressed disapproval of the idea, saying, "I felt that Williams was being," adding, "I thought we were focusing on the comeback of her career. She would be mortified, and I would never let Wendy put her name in a brand on the line like that ever. She's an icon, but it's not the story we signed up for, and I feel lied to. It's awful for me to watch Wendy be mortified. There's no way you can convince me that she would be okay with looking and seeing herself that way." Court filings. But it sounds like the person who should be watching the talk show might be pocketing the money from the illiterate former host. The report seems accurate, as Williams reportedly only received about $882,000 for the 4-episode series, which is absurd, but as usual, the higher-ups are denying any wrongdoing. The documentary series creators acknowledged that during filming, they were unaware of Williams' condition. The goal of the documentary series, according to executive producer Erica Hansen, told the Associated Press, was to follow Williams as she faced challenges and made adjustments in her life. Emerging from the other side, the only thing that matters to us at Lifetime, according to Bry Bryant, Senior Vice President of Non-Scripted Programming, is that she had a platform to share her story, and we believe we did so responsibly. We also hope she recovers and is able to spend more time with her family. However, It appears that the company is also suing SA. The entertainment businesses claim in court filings filed in New York on November 15 that Sabrina only brought the action to stifle free expression and annoy publishers by making them pay to defend against unfounded suits, and they are requesting the expenses and fees they incurred from defending themselves against her lawsuit. The lawsuit also claimed that the guardianship isolated her from her family, left her largely alone and unattended in her apartment, exacerbated her self-destructive behavior and mental decline, and failed to prevent Williams' use of alcohol. If you're wondering why all the fuss, the documentary did show some of Wendy's weakest points.
I can't do this. I have to sit down again. I have no money. I'm going to tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you. Did you drink this whole thing today? Keep it there. Okay. Just keep it there.
People around who are yes people and allowing this to continue.
This is all too much.
It's straightforward to assume that the issue is complex, but fans can't quit worrying about one thing: the timing of everything. Of course, Wendy's guardian didn't want the talk show at her lowest to turn into a comedy on screen. Own people don't think it's a coincidence that Wendy's inability to speak came out at the same time as Diddy's imprisonment, but the reason is that Wendy was aware of the secrets in Diddy's closet and had been speaking out about him for a while. It all began in the 1990s when Wendy obtained some. She intended to make the public aware of the incriminating images of Diddy, but he somehow learned about it. When Wendy refused to back down, he made sure she paid the price for her attempt to deceive him by causing her to be sacked.
Got on the phone. He said, let me tell you this. When I get back to New York City, if she's on the radio station, he's talking to a radio executive. He said the same thing to he said, nobody that I deal with, nobody that I know is going to do anything with y'all. No business at all.
Additionally, Wendy essentially verified the tale during her interview with DJ VLMAR. So if you believe Gan Deal made it up for his brief moment in the spotlight, you should reconsider.
But we come from a very homophobic era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams, and she was practically burned at the stake for talking about son.
And if you felt that was awful, brace yourselves, because in Wendy's opinion, that wasn't even the worst part. Diddy once dispatched a group of girls to teach her some lessons. Fortunately, Wendy wasn't wounded, but it didn't give her a sense of the kinds of forces she was up against. When the authorities placed Diddy in handcuffs, the talk show host said, "What's really weird is that I have been told by so many people, Wendy, you called it, including some people from my family who have said the same." She also said that it was about time and that watching this video on TV of Cassie being beaten was just horrifying. But now you have to consider how many more times, how many people, how many more females. As far as we can tell, Wendy's health is deteriorating, so it's safe to say that she took a significant risk by airing Diddy's dirty laundry in that way. However, fans found some hope when she was spotted out a few months ago. On August 19, she was spotted with her son Kevin Hunt Jr. at the holistic store Bingo Balance in Newark, New Jersey, and fans were shocked because this was the first time Wendy had been seen since March 2023. An employee at the store, according to Wendy's family, the talk show host is not as incapacitated as her guardian, so perhaps things are not as dire as they seem. Williams was sharp, aware, and very bubbly during the visit. She was engaging, but her son was more explaining things because she wasn't as familiar with what we do here. The employee also mentioned that she talked about circulation improvement, but she didn't want to go into too much detail about their first meeting and plans to return soon. Statements according to a family member who talked to the Daily Mail, she is more clear than she has ever been. While the guardianship is problematic for some, she told the outlet a month ago, "I am doing really well. The documentary sucked. I understand that it is up for an award. Now that everything is going great, it appears that the family may be telling the truth, as some fans don't believe the Guardian's statement to be true."
I'm not buying this fake news because there's no way that Wendy Williams is considered permanently incapacitated from dementia.
Even though we all saw that documentary where Wendy wasn't doing well, her guardian Serena filed within the court saying that Wendy has been affected by early onset dementia and as a result has been cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated. This is interesting because this is the same Wendy Williams who just a few months ago did an exclusive.
Actually, Jaguar Wright believes that Diddy may have been responsible for Wendy's present health issue, and it's hardly shocking that the former music tycoon has sent far too many people to the hospital.
Talk about Diddy.
And then what's the stuff that's happened with Wendy Williams? You think this is all connection to?
Of course. They've been waiting.
However, what do you think? Is Wendy doing well? Will she never talk again? And is this related to Diddy? Please share your thoughts in the space provided below, and don't forget to watch more videos on our channel. You all need to pay attention to this drama because it appears that Wendy Williams' family is still dealing with issues. Wendy's son, Kevin Jr., recently came out to discuss how his father, Kevin Senior, has treated Wendy for years, despite the fact that Wendy and Kevin have been divorced for nearly 5 years. According to Jr., his father is still doing everything in his power to keep Wendy's money and continue to use her to support his lifestyle. You all recall how Jr. and Kevin Sr. got into a fight a few years ago because Jr. learned of his father's grand scheme to defraud Wendy of her money. Well, that hasn't changed because Jr. just came out to drag Kevin Sr., and he didn't hold anything back. It appears that Jr. is prepared for war and didn't come to play with his dad. So it appears that many people are backing Wendy Williams and opposing Kevin Hunter. One of them is their son, Kevin Hunter Jr., whom I'll just refer to as Junior so you don't confuse the two. Kevin was confused. Prior to Kevin messing up and getting his side piece, he and Wendy were married in 1999. Ira Shanna Hudson is now expecting. According to reports, Junior has always known about how his father treated his mother, which isn't surprising given that he was present when it all happened. Also, contrary to popular belief, children are extremely intelligent and are aware of what's happening in the family even if they aren't told by a parent. Wendy had always known about his affair with Sharina and was willing to ignore it as long as he didn't get Sharina knocked up. But he did, and that was the end of their 20-year marriage. When his parents divorced, Junior was 19 years old because his father had. He wasn't a child since Shireen was pregnant, and he was aware of everything that was happening because the media couldn't stop discussing it. He witnessed everything, including how his Wendy took petty revenge on Kevin by playing him. Kevin disclosed that Wendy had deceived him by making him unemployed and divorced in a single day. He claimed that when the news broke, he told Wendy that he would leave the show, but Wendy insisted that he stay because he was expecting a child. However, later, he was fired from management, served with divorce papers, and fired from the show. Wendy clearly enjoyed this, and she disclosed in an interview that during their marriage, Wendy was the one who paid the bills or even bad. Rather than pulling out his resume and finding a job, he decided that he was just going to go after Wendy and have her finance his life for as long as possible by having her pay him alimony, even though he was the one who cheated. This was because he was using WW's hard-earned money to finance his affair with Sharina, buying her fancy cars and the house, and setting up multiple businesses for her, all of which failed after Wendy left him. People were expecting him to get another job because he always claimed to have made Wendy who she was. Give him child support. Even though their son was a legal adult at the time, Junior was on his mother's side here. According to insiders, Junior felt that his father's requests for alimony and child support were tacky and unclassy, and he felt embarrassed by his father's behavior. Things became so bad between them that they even got into a physical altercation about it, with Kevin Sr. accusing Wendy of brainwashing their son. The fight was so messy and bad that Junior was arrested. For a while, everything seemed to be going well, but her joy was short-lived because a few months later, she started to experience health problems. Fans were a little worried when Wendy had to withdraw from the promotional campaign for the next season of The Wendy Williams Show in 2021. but she'd assured them that she would attend the premiere of the new season so they wouldn't worry too much. However, things took a sharp turn when Wendy canceled her appearance at the show's premiere, citing a doctor's order due to complications with her Graves' disease. As if that wasn't enough, she also contracted COVID-19, which made her health issues even worse. There were speculations circulating that she was admitted to it. Tasha K then weighed in, claiming that Wendy Williams was suffering from early-onset dementia and that she was living in a safe house instead of her Manhattan apartment because of mental health difficulties. Here is what Tasha K had to say.
Wendy done. Wendy is done. And I don't like to say this. And she has early stages of dementia.
In addition to the dementia claims, let's discuss Tasha K's assertion that Wendy is confined to a wheelchair because she no longer has blood flow to her feet or lower legs.
She has lost all blood circulation to the bottom of her legs and her feet, so she can't.
We haven't had any alerts like that, and I haven't seen anything like that or had conversations with her that would lead me to believe that we routinely go up and check on Wendy. So no, we don't have any concerns concerning her mental state. It's all physical, he said. However, a few weeks later, an article by The Sun appeared that sort of painted Wendy's mental health in a bad state and implied that her family was attempting to hide her true issues. The Sun cited sources in his writing. After Wendy seemed ill at a Zoom show recording earlier in the week, her manager and a few confidants were called to her penthouse residence. Arrived at the host's residence to support the struggling talk show queen. According to several sources, Wendy was discovered in her room, naked and shouting profanity. Shocked by this, witnesses contacted medical personnel as soon as they arrived. After allegedly becoming even more aggressive, Wendy was taken to the hospital, where she stayed for several weeks. Her physical health was deteriorating, and after this incident, things rapidly got worse. For a whole season, the producers of her show attempted to keep things afloat by bringing in guest hosts to take her place, but by the conclusion of the season, it was clear that Wendy would not be coming back, and the show was fired. According to reports, Wendy's condition worsened, and she sought treatment at a wellness center. She was away from her camp for a while, and when she returned, people close to her were pressuring her to return to work. They were pushing for her to find a new TV job, possibly even reality TV or anything else she could get. Even though her mental and physical health wasn't at its best yet, they weren't doing this out of concern for her, but rather because they wanted to make money off of her if she went. Wasn't working, she wasn't earning money, and they couldn't afford this, so they forced her to find new employment even though she wasn't well enough to work, and they ought to have encouraged her to concentrate on recovering instead. In an interview with The Sun, Junior finally came forward to speak out about this and confirmed that his mother was being used and manipulated by people who didn't have her best interest at heart. He said things like, "I know there are all sorts of things happening that I know in her right mind she would never agree to, as hard as it is seeing her being taken advantage of. I know that." It is evident that Junior loves his mother very much, and he is hurt to see how she is being taken advantage of and manipulated. He said her surroundings have made it more important for her to work despite her poor health. In my opinion, that should not be a priority at all, and whoever has been hired is taking advantage of someone who needs to get better. Additionally, he asserted that individuals were exploiting her alcoholism, stating that many people are well aware that she has a problem with her drinking and how to address it. But I believe these people are exploiting it while letting it happen to give the impression that they aren't the problem. If they aren't, they are undoubtedly supporting a certain personality and allowing her to consume alcohol. This wasn't the first time someone criticized Wendy's friends and family for supporting her destructive habits solely for their own benefit. DJ Booth revealed the truth about this back in 2020. For those who are unaware, he left the Wendy Williams show without providing an explanation, leaving fans to speculate as to whether he had been fired or simply had a falling out with the producers. Since DJ Booth had been the show's DJ for a while, his abrupt departure caused some curiosity. We later learned that he had left. A fan wrote on Instagram, "Wendy, you need to stop your show and seriously get help. Your camp is just watching you spiral instead of sending help. Shame on them, because he couldn't stand watching the producers and managers watch helplessly as Wendy went downhill without trying to help her. DJ Booth himself responded to a fan who said, "Yep, exactly, and it will all come out. You guys have no idea what's really going on, and everyone there is afraid to speak up because they don't want to lose their jobs. This is going to play out badly." Another fan commented on this, saying that she doesn't listen to them, which is probably why DJ Booth left the show. I hope the victims and employees have a blessed life. Which made things even more challenging because Wendy didn't surround herself with people who cared about her. However, she eventually seemed to be doing better and even stated that she was open to falling in love once more.
We can fall in love. Okay. Now, I'm serious about that. It's not enough that I sit home by myself at 58 years old. I can't wait to fall in love.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get married. I want him to have already had kids. I want him to be someplace around my age. Maybe 10 years younger than me and maybe 15 years older.
Things were finally beginning to improve for her, and a few months later, she revealed that she was going to start a podcast that would be filmed at her New York apartment. We were excited, but a source said there was no podcast underway. It's odd because she says there isn't a podcast, but she also tells people she's going back to TV. It's difficult to determine what is true because allegedly her sponsors decided to pull out at the last minute, which led Wendy into another bout of binge drinking. According to Page 6, she drank her way from Fresco by Scato in New York City all the way to a gay bar. The Townhouse, the host of the Naughty But Nice podcast, Rob Shooter, also described how it turned out, saying that after we had a bite to eat and a few drinks, Wendy suggested that we go to the Townhouse bar for more drinks just as we were about to leave. Her publicist put a different spin on this, claiming that Wendy apparently went out celebrating the new things in her life, bringing in Wendy too, and that she is happy and excited for her new life. This witness, who was also at the scene, essentially confirmed Rob's claim. She kept saying she wanted to get drunk tonight and wasn't hiding her drinking. Possibilities and a passion for life, this statement. There are a lot of new things in the works, and Wendy was celebrating. Help to change things up, give people a new perspective on the situation, and give the impression that Wendy's life was going well until we learned that she had become so broke that she was selling off her possessions to raise money. According to a number of news outlets, Wendy has been phoning people to ask them to help her sell everything she owns. She is also seeking recommendations for locations that sell furniture for you. The insider went on to say that she wanted to see how she could live with things in her house before moving, which might involve her. Among other souvenirs, the famous purple chair. Her publicist once again attempted to spin this by claiming that Wendy is getting rid of things for spring cleaning, which is a common gesture people do this time of year. It's a new chapter for Wendy, and she wants new things, so she is no different. Her publicist worked hard to clean up Wendy's image, and she was successful. At this point, her team hinted that they had plans for her to star in a reality TV show, but her family objected, with her brother saying on their behalf that this is not a woman who is in the right frame of mind to get a show. He also voiced concerns about what the reality show would mean for Wendy when she eventually recovers and must deal with the fact that the entire world witnessed her at her lowest point. He made some pretty valid points when he said, whatever they do with it, they're going to do it, and it's going to be sad. I can't blame Wendy for anything. I want her to get better. She is not better, so I can't be mad at her for any of this. So it comes out, and what happens if Wendy is doing much, much better, right? Who wants these kinds of memories? Although he wasn't specifically against the idea of a reality TV show or Wendy working, he wanted her to recover and be in a clear state of mind when she decided to go back and share her story in front of the world. He said, why couldn't she just get better all the way and then do something? She can't be contemplating nothing because she can't think it out. So other people are thinking things out for her. And all this time she could have been down here recovering. I won't lie. He presented the facts, and it was obvious that he was trying to protect Wendy and ensure that she understood what she was getting into. He also somewhat supports the theory that Wendy wasn't in peak health yet and that her team was attempting to manipulate her in order to make money off of her. But in a statement, her team insisted that Wendy was eager to return to work, stating that after taking a long break, she felt that some of her best days were spent in the media. She has been in the industry since her early 20s, and she wants to get back to what she loves. After the previous drama subsided, Wendy found herself dealing with more mental health issues, sort of like her bank account. In an attempt to slap her with a conservatorship similar to what happened, Wells Fargo shut her out of her account and prevented her from accessing her own money, alleging she wasn't in the correct frame of mind. I'm in love with Britney Spears. Her ex-husband Kevin Hunter sued her because she was no longer paying him alimony and he wanted her money. He called out her team and accused them of being shady, saying that Wendy was in rehab and that these people simply stopped depositing my money cold turkey. At the end of the day, I earned that money and I'm not letting them take it, knowing she's not. Wendy went to war with the bank to get her money, but it only made her financial situation worse. In a good place, but she's surrounded by people who are taking advantage of her condition, including this so-called guardianship. It's funny how he called out others for taking advantage of her when he did the same thing during their marriage. He spent all of her money on his affair with Shachina, setting up 5 doomed businesses and spending almost $1 million on a house for her. When he was unable to extract any more money from Wendy, he tried to sue her, but the court dismissed him because their alimony agreement stated that Wendy owed him nothing if she left the Wendy Williams show. Speaking of Kevin, he has received his fair share of karma because he has since come out to admitting that he has gone bankrupt. He eventually had to come out and publicly ask for money, saying, "I have fallen behind on most of my bills. I'm behind on credit card payments because I have no money since the severance payments were suspended. My life has been greatly affected since the plaintiff stopped making payments under our settlement agreement. The fact that I am unable to sustain my life and pay my bills in order is extremely urgent to me. I cannot pay my bills and sustain my day-to-day living." Additionally, there have been rumors that Sharina abandoned him once the money stopped coming in, allegedly dipping as soon as the money dried up. The host of a top program is laughing heartily because she was spending too much of his illicit income. Her serial unfaithful and serial thieving ex-boyfriend ended their relationship. Additionally, sources verified that Sharina had relocated back after splitting with Kevin, in with her mother.
Now, I am hearing that her cousin Kevin and Sharina are no longer together. You know what that is? Well, come on now. The money goes. What? The money's going to happen. The money.
The teaser for her new documentary was released last week, and regrettably, she doesn't seem to be back to her former self after disclosing that she was still broke and had lost all she owned.
Judge and given a guardian. That was multiple witness.
I have no money. I'm going to tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you. As her family, we were all on the sidelines watching, and she was crying.
Additionally, it was implied in the teaser that she was still having problems with her drinking.
This whole thing's great. Keep it there. Keep it there.
Fortunately for Wendy, Jr. is present, and he also made an appearance in the trailer, stating that he didn't want his mother to work. In other words, he didn't want her to do the documentary.
Show us how she wants to work. But I feel as though she's looking up. She has people around who are yes people and allowing this to happen.
Additionally, he asserted that the court-ordered guardian was failing to provide for Wendy and was exposing her to abuse.
Rather protecting my mom.
My life. Right now, she's weak and vulnerable, and she needs to be around people who aren't going to take advantage of that.
Although they didn't mention it in the documentary trailer, sources claim that Junior has been cheating on his father and holds him responsible for everything that has happened to Wendy thus far. The source stated that Junior thinks Kevin encouraged Wendy to drink during their marriage because it made it easier for him to take advantage of her for her money. He also claimed that Kevin continued to try to take advantage of Wendy even after they got divorced, pointing out how he essentially forced Wendy to pay him alimony, and that even after receiving it, he continued to pursue Wendy, even going so far as to request child support, which is even worse. Even after everyone knew about Wendy's altercation with Wells Fargo, Kevin continued to sue her for money, which was the final straw for Junior because he realized how much his father loved Wendy's money and wasn't willing to work for his. Kevin never helped Wendy when she was having difficulties, and his only concern is money. According to The Insider, this has strained the bond between the father and son, and it's doubtful whether they will ever be able to mend or move past this reason. Junior is furious by Kevin's treatment of his mother. According to The Insider, Junior still remembers their fight from 2 years ago when Kevin tried to take advantage of Wendy and Junior was not having that. The Insider also stated that Junior is not afraid to fight for his mother at any time. Fans are on Junior's side here, and they left comments saying that Lil Kev has many reasons for dropping Big Kev. This boy has been humiliated, embarrassed, and not to mention hurt as well as his mother. I'm surprised Lil Kev didn't do more. Considering everything that is happening in the media, he probably has no respect for his father. Although I don't support assaulting your father, I also don't hold the young guy responsible. At least Kevin Jr. is not like his father, and he is almost out with college. Mr. Senior is a huge jerk. Hugo Jr. is proud of you. Please share your thoughts about Junior standing up to his father in the comments section below, and then watch the following video.